Okay, we are live again. Um, hold on. Yes. How are you all doing? Early morning here, and we have quite a few things to talk about. I'll just, as usual, give it a few seconds so that people can discover this live stream and join the chat. You have to be a subscriber to the channel to join the chat, by the way. Um, and we have a wonderful, positive community here. Um, Usually the same. Many of the same people will join the chat, and we have um, a nice discussion and conversation. Not so much a discussion, but a conversation. KP Hidden, Yuma, Abdulaziz, Daniel, Grasslands Uval, Angela, Stealth Mode, yeah, wonderful. So, the first thing I want to talk about kind of ties into the whole. Well, it's more a private thing, I guess, or maybe not. It affects the content I'm producing for YouTube. Well, I'm not doing it for YouTube. I'm doing it for myself, but um, and where was I? Yeah, okay. So the content. Things change. People change, and what people want to watch, what people are watching, what people say they want to watch. Those are different things. And I have recently on the main channel done unedited videos. And that's a conscious decision. For me, I was forced to reduce the amount of stress in my life. Editing videos for me was stressful because I'm quite obsessed with quality with things I do, and I'm not saying I'm never going to edit videos. Obviously, I will. Some videos need to be edited, but when you talk to the camera, and that seems to be what people want me to do. That's what they're watching. Unedited is the way to go now. People watch longer when I don't edit. People seem to prefer that, and it's all good, But I will say that, unedited videos are what I call low quality. It really is. When it comes to, when you produce videos, unedited is not high quality content, the way I see it. Not in a videographic sense, at least. But I just wanted to mention this because it seems like unedited is the way to go. And I would advise people against editing videos, unless you, for instance, if you do a longer hike and it's an outdoors video, you do a longer hike, and then obviously you have to edit those clips together. But yeah, so unedited seems to be the way to go, and I'm fine with that. So let's go for the unedited thing. I can produce more videos that way, and I don't have to obsess about the content and what I'm saying. So I'll probably say something wrong now and then. We all do. Now, also, I will probably be referring to this live stream here, not only this one here, but these live streams as a breakfast club. Even though most people are from the USA, I believe, and for you guys and girls, it's not breakfast now, is it? Well, for some people it is. If you're in the UK, we have a lot of people from the UK here as well. Um, and if you're in Europe, this is breakfast time, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not most from the USA here. Maybe I scared the many people from the USA away with my content. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I want to call this a breakfast club. Um, I don't know why. It seems cozy, you know? Um, yeah. But anyway, let's get to the thing with the tariffs. So the EU, okay, the European Union is not Europe. Europe is not the EU. The European Union is a union of many European countries, but not all of Europe is part of the European Union. Okay? And it seems like, especially people in North America, they think that the EU and Europe is the same thing. It's not. So the EU, not Europe, but the EU, European Union, they are now saying that they're going to punish the USA with tariffs. And it's obviously a response to Trump's threat of 25% tariff on everything coming from the EU. So, you know, it's I wanted to mention this because it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing to see how we all think that we are the greatest. We are top of the world. We decide we are the best. And Europe and Europeans really think that, well, we think that we are better. We do. The Americans think that they are better as well. Um, so, so it's like looking at this from my side here in Europe. It's interesting to see that, and I have contact with many people from the USA here, and I see the attitude coming from the USA, and it's very similar to, I will say it's very similar to the attitude that we have here. Actually, I have to be fair. I think, yeah, the typical Trumpist person is probably more nationalist than the typical European, of course. But the bottom line here is that we're going to punish the USA with tariffs now. And it's because how dare this orange guy in the White House threat us with tariffs? We're going to punish them with tariffs. And it's all very silly because it's like pouring sand into your I don't know, your gas tank or something. It's not, looking at this from as an economist, it's not a wise thing to do. And the only ones who will make money from this is certain corporations in those countries, because people will buy more from them and it puts them at advantage in the countries that are protecting themselves with tariffs. But they're not protecting the country, they're protecting those businesses. So, if that's the goal, then that's the way to do it. And why stop at 25%? Why not do like they do here in Norway to protect the farmers? Because the farmers here, I think in some some foods 400% tariffs on some of the food here, and it's because we can't the farmers here, they can't compete with farmers in other countries because it's expensive to produce food in Norway. We want to protect the farmers to make sure that we are not that we don't find ourselves in a very difficult situation if the supply lines are broken in a crisis. We want to produce food in Norway. We want to keep that going. But who's paying for that? I mean, yes, the wages are high in Norway, but the food is very expensive as well because people pay for that. We pay for those tariffs. We pay those 400% tariffs on certain food items in Norway. So the food here is healthier than not all of it, but it's cleaner, and in many ways the food here is healthier than imported food. So this this is why we do it. But the result is expensive food, and we pay for that. If we as consumer pay the tariffs. And in the EU, they are going to pay the tariffs there as well. And in the USA, those of you who are in the USA, you are going to pay the tariffs. Jules Watch says Trump is king of trolls. LOL. Well, LOL. I don't know what to say to that. The result is that now the EU is preparing tariffs on everything from the USA. That's the result. Trolling or not. So let's see here. Tore says tariffs are generally punishing the consumers. Yes, exactly. So yes, stealth mode, thank you for saying that. This could be bad for all of us. Prices will skyrocket. Yes. And not only will you be protecting those corporations within your country against competition from corporations in other countries, but you will also be allowing those corporations to take more profit. They will add as much to the price as they think that they can to get more profit. And some people have said tariffs it is a tax, and well, yes, it is. Of course, it's not on paper a tax, but it's a well, actually, the word in English would be tax, I guess. Import. Do you call it import duties? Well, basically, the government takes money, more money, more money. So, let's see here. Duty tax. Okay, yeah. Horror Business says Trump's number one priority is to get America out of debt. That is why he's doing everything. This is the main reason we owe trillions. Yes, I know, and thank you for mentioning that. It's quite important, actually. The USA hit the debt ceiling. I read that yesterday. They can't borrow more money or something like that. So they have to do something. This is, I believe, the main reason for Dodge, Trump, no, Musk's Dodge, and they're firing a lot of people and so on. I think people can protest as much as they like, but there is no way around it. Angela, yes, it's my favorite English word to say, debt. Debt. Can I not say debt? What? I want to say debt. Debt. Green-eyed lady says Trump only wants fair trade. China exports tons of products to US, but makes it very difficult for US to import products into China. What is fair trade? I don't think fair goes into this at all, in my opinion. I do think that it is essential to reduce or stop trading with China. And that's, I mean, it would be sensible. Okay, so the sensible thing looking at this, and I'm trying my best to look at this with an objective, being objective here. The sensible thing to do would be to strengthen the trade between Europe and the USA and reduce the trade between the USA and China. That would be the sensible thing to do, because the USA now is isolating itself, and the USA is not really a superpower anymore. So you will have the BRICS nations solidifying their alliances and getting more and more powerful. And you will have Europe also isolating itself, of course, towards Russia, which was important in when it comes to trade. And Europe is quite powerful, self-sustained with food, as far as I know. Only this, that little tiny country, Netherlands, is producing a massive amount of food. It's incredible. It's people don't realize this, but it's quite incredible. So Europe could well isolate itself. I don't think it will. It will strengthen alliances with Canada, for instance. Hopefully also with African countries. But we are looking at a world with much more isolation between the different blocks, so to speak. And yeah, thank you. You know what? I got it a little bit wrong there. Petar Petrovich, thank you for reminding me. The US, and this is so interesting, the US is opening up towards Russia. That's extremely interesting, and it's going to make a huge difference, because I think it's, from a financial standpoint, it's very sensible to do that. We can discuss whether it's morally and ethically right or wrong and all day long, but if or when the USA start trading with Russia again, it's probably good for world peace. And people may not like that, but you know what I care for? I care for. I want an international situation. I want a geopolitical situation to be such that there's a minimum chance of a nuclear war. That's what I care for. And I think that's much more important than, for instance, this term that they're using now. The peace in Ukraine needs to be a fair peace, whatever that means, you know. And I can tell you, well, I no, not you know this already, of course, but I can tell anyone who likes to use that term, fair peace, that the peace is not going to be fair. It's never going to be fair. But we should care about the fact that we will get a stop in the killing, and that we get a situation that lowers the risk of nuclear war. Um, so, yeah. Let's have a look at the chat again. Again, top model. Yeah, this is a very old cup. My daughter, I think, she was interested in the top model uh, comic books or dolls or something when she was little. Um, I don't know. Are there top model dolls anymore? I don't know. Yeah, and okay. Um, um, no, I don't think I will go bald. Horror business. I don't think so. Um, Not. I'm now in my 50s, so I don't think I'll go bald. I have a lot of hair, so yeah. I think I would be okay with going bald if I did. I mean, it's very, very common. It's normal. It's much more abnormal to have this much hair when you're a man in your 50s, I guess. But I have to tell you, and this is unrelated to all of this. It was in the news actually yesterday, or not in the news, but a debate on the TV, and there was a guy there, and I recognized the name. I didn't recognize his face. Well, I did when I looked closely, but he was now fat, baldening, and he looked like an old man. But he was actually someone in my class at school when I was a teenager, and he uh, he was the cool kid. He was the cool kid, and I was like, okay, you had your peak back then, didn't you? um, you had the peak back then. Now you're an old man, and he was actually 1 year younger than me. Well, he is. Now he was sitting there um, talking about how unhealthy the carnivore diet is. And I'm like, look at you telling people how unhealthy the carnivore diet is. Look at you. Just look. um, yeah, so that was funny, and it was a little bit satisfying to see. And I guess you have seen the similar. I guess people, they peaked in high school, as they say. You know, um, yeah. And I honestly think that if you go along with the whole politically correct everything, it's extremely unhealthy for you. I mean, it's got to lower your testosterone. I mean, it's just got to. Uh, So you're not to act like a man. You're not to have any kind of uh, ever any kind of aggression. Not saying that you should go around being aggressive, but what's the word? Um, oh, you get what I'm saying here. And you're not supposed to eat meat, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to go along with all the woke stuff, whatever is fashionable at the moment. Now, I'm not a carnivore now. Well, I am a carnivore, of course, but I'm not on the carnivore diet because of powerlifting now. Because I'm trying my best to gain weight because of the weight classes and all that. And to gain weight, you know what you need to do? You need to eat bread and such things. Carbs. That's how you get fat. And if you're in the strange position where you are between in the middle of weight class in powerlifting, it's not good. You need to be at the upper end. You need to add carbs. And if eating carbs is how you gain weight and get a little bit fat, then what should you do to reduce to be less fat? Reduce the carbs. Oh, yeah. No, I love meat. Um, I can eat. I don't think there's a limit to how much red meat I can eat in one sitting. I just love meat. Problem in one sitting. It's unlimited. maybe there's something wrong with me. Yeah, I'm back. Back. Okay, okay. Um, yes, I'm back. Can you see me? Can you see me? Hopefully, you can see me. Mm. Okay, talking about closing people out of everything. Um, Funky Prepper is back. Funky Prepper. Do you know Funky Prepper? Funky, as in the music, funk. Funky Prepper. I got a message from him, not Dr. Pepper, Funky Prepper. Um, yes, so he did a live stream, did he? Okay, I haven't seen that, but I got a message from him. Um, and it's good to see him being back. But I don't know what happened there. Actually, I don't know what happened. Um, but it's good that he's back. So I think he needs some support and some views. He tells in the live stream. Okay, I'll go and watch the live stream after this. Yeah. It's these days it's difficult when I've had messages and so on from people who say that they are funky prepper, and you never know for sure, and because there are so many scammers out there, and they take advantage of situations like this. So, yeah. uh, okay, let's see here. Now, I don't when it comes to Funky Prepper, I don't know why he got in trouble. I don't know what happened there, and I mean, not. I don't want to criticize him for anything because I haven't watched his live streams or videos in a while, and that's simply because I'm more interested in the outdoors content and so on. And I get stressed out, as they say, with when the content is too negative. It's not good for me. I mean, it's my it. I need to reduce the stress in my life, and because of that, I will not be doing what I perceive as negative content. And yes, on the main channel, I talked about World War III. But when I look at the comments, and YouTube has made it so that in Creator Studio, which is what you use when you have a look at your channel, you do see the comments, and you can't opt out of not see, you can't opt out so that you don't see the comments. And the level of stupidity there is quite amazing, and the negativity. And there are people there claiming that I am to blame for, because I'm European, then I'm to blame if there's a World War III. And it's like, it's crazy. These people are so negative, and it does affect me. It does. And I think anyone who says that it doesn't, they are lying. Sharp Canines, when it comes to Funky Prepper, yeah, he's going to stop talking about migrants and stick to outdoors, bushcraft stuff. I think that's wise. The problem now, the UK has a problem with immigration. It's obvious. But the problem, if you get too much into that, I obviously, being in Norway, I'm nobody. The police is not going to come here and knock on my door and check my thinking as they do in the UK. If I talk about immigration, we don't really have that problem here. But if we had, that's not how it works here. Norway is very, very high on the. There's every year there's a list of. The level of free speech and Norway is very high. The USA is not very high, by the way. Did you know that? The reason why I'm not going to get too much into topics like immigration, you know why? Let me ask you, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Yuval is being a little bit funny. Yes, I got the joke. Yes. No, okay, I'll stop trying to make myself interesting here. Some time ago, many years ago, we had a mass shooting in Norway, and the same person blew up some big buildings in Oslo, the governmental buildings there. And he was, that's a Breivik mass shooting. Some years before that, I went to school for 3 years. And I walked up and down that street, the same street where those buildings were blown up. And I don't personally know someone who lost their kids, but he was shooting kids basically. Um, so okay, you get what I'm trying to say here. I don't want to be someone who inspires someone who's a racist to go out and kill people. And it doesn't take so much, it doesn't, because people will misunderstand on purpose these days. Um, and I think we need to come together and find common ground. Uh, we don't need more division. And I'm going to be careful with things that can inspire violence. Anything can inspire violence, of course, but I'm not going to go there. Can you imagine how terrible that would be? Someone shoots up a school, and then says that, well, I was inspired by this YouTuber, Um, so no, no, I will try. It's a responsible thing to do, It, so, but anyway, that's why. That's why. Now, I don't care if I'm called a racist. I'm called some of the videos I have. I'm called both a racist and woke in the comment section of the same video. So it's fine. People can call me whatever they like. Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah, well, I think that's quite important, actually. So we need common ground. We need dialogue. We don't need more hate. We need to call out the lies. We need to call out people in positions of power who are taking advantage of those who are not in positions of power. And we see that a lot in the UK. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I hope that Funky Prepper can stick to he's got screen presence. He really has. And I don't know if the following happened in his case, but it's very easy to see if you look at these prepper channels. So many of them went from being prepper channels to being political commentary channels. And, let's be honest, many of these guys, they have no fucking clue on what they're talking about at all. And their only point of reference seems to be the Bible in some cases, So it's like, come on. Some of these people, they've never been outside of their country even. So, yeah. Yeah, Stealth Mode says we would never think. Oh, well, you mean to? It's auto spelling, I think. Well, of course, you guys would never hurt anyone. Like that's a foolish thing to say, actually. But I'm trying to say, you guys would never go out and do some crazy stuff like that. Of course not. But not only do I not have the control with who is watching my videos and so on, but also people steal my videos and they cut them up and so that it will look like I'm saying something that it's taken out of context to push a certain agenda. And I have no control of that. and that's we as video creators and YouTubers, we need to take that into account. We need to think a little bit about that, and we need to be careful. Shining Noctowl says, elite prepper MAGA enthusiasts, while telling others, you've been lied to about the Earth not being flat. Yeah. Yes, and this was a funny one. Uval, are you referring to the feminist hit piece there? You're writing, I'll go out to the woods. If they say anything, I'll blame you. You'll blame me. Okay, I influenced you. Yeah, I get what she's saying. She was saying something along the lines. So I go out in the woods and I sit by the campfire in order to push a certain agenda, a red pill anti-feminist agenda. And maybe my response video was a bit mean because, yes, she got the wrong person there. She got the wrong person. I'm not one of those guys, and I think if she had cared, looking at some of my other videos, she would have seen that. I'm quite hated by the red pill community. I don't know the community. I'm quite hated by some of those red pill guys. So, so yeah. And I don't know. And she also criticized, but not as much. Dry Creek Wrangler, is that what it's called? And I don't know that channel so well, but I don't think he's one of the red pill guys. I don't think so, but he's, well, yeah, he seems like a cool dude. It seems like a genuine nice guy, but there are so many others, of course, that she could have made a hit piece about, and they would deserve it because they are spreading hatred towards women. Let's call it for what it is. And what I think this boils down to? It boils down to their lack of success when it comes to women. That's what I think. And they think that it has to do with having a washboard stomach and earning six figures and having a nice car. And they can't see that if they attract women with that, those are not going to be good women, are they? So it's like it's the more they try, the worse their experiences with, if they have any, with women will be. So they are digging themselves into the ground, and the hole that they are digging is just getting deeper and deeper. So KP Hidden, yes, check out KP Hidden's channel there. Basically a prepper channel. Justin says something that is very true. Men can be too successful with women sometimes. Yeah. That's a problem. Yeah, also, I think it's a kind of cruel fact that women are, in general, attracted to successful men, or men that are perceived as successful. I think what is success? What is that? Um, but yeah. Um, Mike is asking, do you think there will be a decrease in military cooperation between the USA and Europe in the coming years? Difficult question. Um, I tried to look into that, and it seems like the USA is very dependent on being present in Europe. Uh, and I mean, if you go up north in Norway, the USA is there. They are monitoring Russia from some installations there. Let's just put it that way. They're spying. um, I don't know. I get the impression that there's a lot of political talk now, and I feel that the people in the military, the guys and girls there who actually know what they're talking about, those who are actually running things, and they, first of all, they're not political. They are not interested in less cooperation between the USA and the rest of NATO. They feel that it is needed. So, but of course, if they get commanded away from their position in, let's say, Germany, well, they have to follow orders, right? But I think if you ask people who work in the military, the American military and the European military, do you want less cooperation? They will say, no, we need this cooperation. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The USA has a Norwegian base, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of cooperation between the troops. I watch a channel here on YouTube. Well, I haven't watched it for a while. It's some kind of elite, older, now retired elite soldier, American, and he and he had this story about working with the Norwegians, and they were cheap. He said they were cheap because alcohol. The story goes like this: the alcohol is expensive in Norway, so when the Americans came over to train and so on with the Norwegian elite soldiers, they asked the Americans to bring booze and for the party, and they would drink it all, and get crazy. This is a very Norwegian thing, and the Americans paid for it all. And I think he also said that they were extremely tough, like hard. They partied hard and they worked hard, something like that. Not saying the Americans don't do that, but yeah. So I don't see that collaboration ending anytime soon. It seems like a foolish thing to do. Yeah. Yeah, shining knocked owls. I think, yeah, we haven't seen the flat earthers for a while, but they were kind of fun. But I've come to the conclusion that the flat earthers, except some few nutcases, they don't believe that the Earth is flat. They just say it to be interesting or to get attention. Horror business. That's very nice of you. If you want to send me a coffee mug, I have other ones, not only the top model one, but the address is on my channel page. You can find my postal address there on all of my YouTube channels. The Earth, I think the Earth is banana shaped, and or maybe like a donut. Yeah. No, I don't think people. No, What do you guys think? Do you think that people actually think the Earth is flat? Like seriously, do you think I'm going to send me Trump stuff? I would like "Make America Great" hat. That would be so fun, you know. No, who all says no? Wesley, really? Do they really think the Earth is flat, or are they saying that just to kind of get attention and to start a discussion and to troll? And Steven says, "I'm a flat earther." I think you're joking there, but what does that flat and then earther mean? Wesley says they really believe so. Some people say that the flat Earth community has followers all around the globe. A bit of a dad joke there. I have so many questions. How thick it is, for instance. How thick is it? Because if it's flat, if I go out and I dig a hole in the garden, so I don't know how deep I've dug in the garden. What's the deepest you have dug in? Dug, is that the word? If you dig a hole, how deep can you get? They say that the Russians, they drilled into the hole like really, really deep. You all have it dig 10 feet, 3 meters. Okay. I think the deepest hole I've ever dug is in Boy Scouts, and the assignment was to make a potato cellar. So we dug a hole in the ground. I don't know. It wasn't that deep, but it must. So I know that. Let's say that was a meter, or maybe 4 feet. So I know that the Earth, at least at that spot, was thicker than 4 feet. And I have seen building sites. They dig, they dig down, and it's quite, many meters down. So it needs to be thicker than that. But how thick is it? Have they measured? Brad says 25,000 kilometers thick. That's a lot. Maya, I think you're not, if you, as an ex-flight attendant, I think you're not high enough. And the Earth is really, really big. Um, yeah. No. Yeah. um, and also, I saw this very true movie, this documentary called Pacific Rim, and it seems like out in the and they build big robots that you sit in them and you steer the robots, and they fight the Americans as always. They fight the monsters, and they come up from a from a through from another dimension or something through the trenches. Yes, in the Pacific, big monsters. So how would that happen? I mean, it. I have so many questions. I have so many questions. um, yeah, just being a little bit funny here. Um, yes, horror business. Thing with Antarctica is that it's one of the last areas of wilderness, untouched wilderness. And they are trying to protect it. They're trying to protect it against things like people searching for oil, um, and things like that. So a Norwegian guy, he went there, and he without permission, and he got in legal troubles. But I can tell you for a fact that there is no ice wall. Well, there is ice there, and it looks like a wall, obviously, because it's the Antarctic. But yeah. Yes, when I was a kid, I also wondered, how deep do you have to dig to come to get down to China? Uh, yes. Now, on a more serious note, I think it's kind of sad that we now have people who actually think that the earth is flat, because what that means is that very basic principles of physics have not been taught in school to those people. Well, maybe they taught it, but they didn't listen, and I think it's kind of difficult to navigate the world if you don't get those basic principles of physics. Now, I'm not an expert of physics, of course not, but it's yeah. And as a friend of mine says also, if it was flat, would it change anything? Well, it would change the laws of physics, of course, but it wouldn't really change your daily life or your priorities with it. Um, Now, Perseus 444 says, I don't know any flat earthers. Are they common? I don't think they are common. Um, the Earth is round. It's round. That's psyop. It's not a conspiracy. It's physics. And you, We'll just stop right there. Okay. Uh, if you doubt that the Earth is a sphere, I think that's the correct word in English. There, you can find out that you can. It's that information and the explanation for why it needs to be like that. It's out there. It's not difficult to find. Okay. Yeah, Wesley. The real question is if the world was flat, why lie about it? There is no motive. Exactly. Ramsey Kite says, where I live, we have university professors who believe the earth is flat because of religion. Wow, really? What are they professors in? Like, what do they teach? Not physics, I hope, or anything important. Um, spheroid, yeah, the it's a bit thicker on around the equator, isn't it? But like a tiny difference. So it's not a perfect. It's not a perfect square. Square. It's not a perfect square. Yeah, it's a cube. Actually, it's a cube. And when you go sailing, you have to be very careful around the edges because you go like this and then you go like that. Yes. Yeah, and also the sailing ships. Yes, they come up from the horizon in the distance there. And I've seen that many times. I live by the sea, and I think that this whole flat Earth thing it has to come from people in inside a country, like interior of a big country, uh, people who haven't seen the sea. Because if you live by the sea, and especially if you like to go sailing and so on, and you're out there on the sea and you see, I have my sailing boat is not the fastest sailing boat. So some bigger boats, they pass me and they go sailing, and you see them vanishing behind the horizon. And if if you get if you use binoculars, you can clearly see, that the hull vanishes, and then the mast goes down, and then you can't see them. So, yeah. Mr. Sorpos, flat Earth dude asked pilots if they constantly had to pitch nose down. Them answering no, mate. Flat Earth guy claim it proves Earth is flat. Oh, I don't doubt that. No. The Earth Node Anarchist says, I think flat earthers come from people being bored in life and loving when things are not what they seem. Yes. And also, I read, or maybe it was a video I watched, about the psychology of people who get very invested in, crazy stuff. These crazy conspiracy theories that, I mean, flat Earth. What else is there? Hollow Earth. well, these things. Um, and the psychology here is that they don't necessarily believe in it to start with, at least, but they become members of a community which is in opposition to the established. That is very tempting to some people, because if that community claims that we have seen the truth, we know better, we are better, actually, we are more intelligent. Uh, Typically, when in those communities, you wouldn't find people who have a high degree from university and so on. I mean, I don't think so. And so maybe there's a bit of envy there as well. And a bit of this attitude where, who do they think they are, those people there who think that they're smarter than us? Actually, we are the smart ones, because we have seen the truth. And all of the rest, you've just been conditioned to think what you think. Oh yeah, the young Earth thing as well. That's another one. That the Earth is, what is it, 5,000 years old, something like that. So so that's the psychology of it, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, KP Heathen, if the Earth is flat and everyone on one side of the Earth jumps, does the Earth flip? Probably. What happened with the dinosaurs 5,000 years ago was that a meteor hit the Earth, but on one side of the disk. So it kind of went like boing, like this, and all the dinosaurs bounced off and into the. No, they banged their head in the invisible ceiling. What's it called? It's the firmament, and that's how they died. So that was very sad. Not so long ago, 5,000 years ago, actually. So yeah. Yeah. And you also have, of course, the thing where these people will say, maybe not the flat earthers, but, and I'm sure you've seen these memes, certain people will say that the people who say believe in science are the same people who are saying that men can get pregnant. And well, yeah, that's a good point. But I think that's obviously more a question of how you use words and which words you are using. And I don't think that not even the woke people, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're claiming that men can get pregnant like in a biological sense. We're talking about women who are taking steroids to get a beard and to look like men, and they get operated on and all of that horrible business there, and then they get pregnant. Oh, it's a horrible thing, but but it's yeah. Homeplan says believe in science, but science is not a thing, but a process. Yes, exactly. Some say it's a method. Yeah. So, but I it's like it's own discussing the flat Earth thing. I find not interesting. It's not really that interesting, is it? I mean, there are other conspiracy theories that are much more interesting. Oh yeah, we have the lizard people thing as well. Hollow moon, hollow earth, young earth, flat earth, of course. I guess there are many others, but then also you have the ones that could be possible. Now, I believe the moon landing is real, or was real, but it's it's not crazy talk to say that no, it was staged, because it would certainly have. I don't know if it would have been possible to stage it without anyone telling and so on. But it's not crazy to think that, like it's crazy to think that the Earth is flat. And the other one, with Hitler, he survived and he went to is it Argentina, and they have photos. Oh, look there, Hitler is there in the bar. There's a photo of a guy with a mustache and so on. And Elvis is yes. So there are many of those conspiracy theories that certainly are much more interesting to look into. Yeah. Horror Business is asking me to tell you guys what a smalahove is. Okay. It's a burnt sheep's head. And people here, crazy people, proper crazy people, they eat that. I haven't. I don't want to. It's a Norwegian delicacy. It's it's split in half, and it's burnt, and people eat it. And yeah, and they say, well, why not? You should eat all of the animal, and yeah, okay. Eating a sheep's head, it's not for me. Yeah. We have in Scandinavia, do we have the most disgusting food? I think so. So we have smalahove. Also, we have different kinds of rotten fish. Yes, Mr. Sorpos, thank you for mentioning that. Rakfisk, it's fermented fish, trout. Yeah. Hi there, William. But the Swedes have the stinkiest food on the planet. Now, what's it called again? What's it called again? The surströmming. Yes, sour. How do you pronounce that? Surströmming. It's the only food. No, hold on. There's a vegetable as well, a fruit that is that one on surströmming. It's illegal to open aboard a plane. Durian, yes. I think that one is also illegal to eat on a plane. Surströmming, it 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 has this process where it's rotting in the tin, and the tin will be bulging, and when you open it, you have to watch out because the rotten juice will spurt out from the hole, and the Swedes, they eat that. It's crazy. Uh, and we also have old cheese, gamelost in Norway, which I'm told that the taste is nice, but it's, I guess the French have some stinky cheeses as well. But my father used to say, when I was little, he said that in the old days they would bury the cheese behind the outdoors toilet and leave it in the ground for a while and then dig it up and then eat it. He said that just to shock me, I guess. But yeah, so old cheese. Old cheese, yes, wonderful. It is actually the one cheese we have here that has the highest protein content. But it smells like a portable toilet on a music from festival the last day. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Sorpos disagrees. A fellow Norwegian here says it doesn't really smell that bad. Okay, yeah. People have different opinions on that. But I think we can all agree that surströmming, the Swedish rotten fish, is something different. It's very alternative. It's very alternative. And I have to ask the question, who came up with that? Because it must have been like, oh, I forgot this tin of fish here for 10 years in behind all the other tins, and should we eat it? Oh, the tin is bulging. It must have some kind of chemical reaction in the tin. Should we eat it? Will that be good for us? And they decided that, yes, that's a good idea. Let's eat this rotten fish. And then they decided that, oh, this is a delicacy. Let's hope that it was first done in a situation of desperate hunger. So yes. Kim Sol said someone desperate did. Yeah, let's hope that was the case. I do suspect that someone figure that, well, this adds flavor to the fish. Yeah. Okay. I will. I think we'll end the live stream there. Thank you for joining. Wonderful as usual. Thank you for being part of this community, and we'll talk soon. Okay. Bye bye.